We had a very good conversation. Mark called me today at 10 o'clock. We put out a statement. We had a very, very good talk. He's going through an election now, and we'll see what happens.
U.S. President Donald Trump spoke to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney for the first time since Carney took office. Trump said the two leaders had an extremely productive first call, even as the two North American allies are in the midst of a tariff war. Carney sets a different precedent as Canadian leaders have made a call to their U.S. counterpart a priority soon after becoming Prime Minister. In a Truth Social post, Trump said they will meet immediately after Canada's upcoming elections on 28 April to discuss politics, business, and all other factors.
Well, absolutely, but we had a very good conversation. Mark called me today at 10 o'clock. We put out a statement. We had a very, very good talk. He's going through an election now, and we'll see what happens. But we have Liberation Day, as you know, on April 2nd, and I'm not referring to Canada, but many countries have taken advantage of us, the likes of which nobody even thought was possible for many, many decades, And, that has to stop. We're going to end up with a very good relationship with Canada and a lot of the other countries. Some we probably won't. It won't be so pleasant. But I think most countries are agreeing with me. They actually, many of them have actually apologized. They said, look, we have taken advantage. And I don't blame them as much as I blame the people that stood, in this case I can say the men, because so far they've been all men, haven't they? But the men that sat right there and behind the Resolute desk, mostly the Resolute desk, I don't know if you know, you have a choice of 7 desks. The Resolute is the one I like, but some chose other ones. But they sat right behind a desk right in this location, and they let our country be hurt very badly. But I didn't do that. But we had a very good talk, the Prime Minister and myself, and I think things are going to work out very well between Canada and the United States. Yeah.
Trump's 25% tariffs on automobile imports to the States will come into force on April 2nd, as Carney announced $1.4 billion investments to protect the Canadian auto industry.
Today, my cabinet colleagues and I met to discuss Canada's response to the latest developments in the trade crisis. Yesterday, in the latest salvo in his trade war, President Trump again imposed unjustified tariffs on our nation in violation of our existing trade agreements. This time, he targeted the auto industry and the more than 500,000 hardworking, dedicated Canadians that industry supports across our country. Now, the President of the United States is trying to fundamentally restructure his economy. It means our economy, and it means the global economy as well. And I understand and respect his goal to support American workers, but I disagree with him that this is how to help them. With time, it will become apparent that these actions will end up hurting American workers and American consumers. I reject any attempts to weaken Canada. Let's be clear. We're all on the same page. We won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperation, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away. We can deal with this crisis best by building our strength right here at home. It will take hard work. It will take steady and focused determination from governments, from businesses, from labor, from Canadians. We will need to dramatically reduce our reliance on the United States. we will need to pivot our trade relationships elsewhere. And we will need to do things previously thought impossible at speeds we haven't seen in generations.
Canada is set for snap elections on April 28th. Carney, who is in the middle of a fourth term for the Liberals, has not officially commented on his call with Trump. Carney took office on the 14th of February, succeeding Justin Trudeau, who led Canada and the Liberal Party for 9 years. He served as Trudeau's economic advisor and also the governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England previously. Trump's declaration to impose 25% blanket tariffs after coming to power stemmed from illegal immigration and fentanyl trade from the borders of Canada and Mexico. Even as Trump has twice deferred the tariffs, his statements over a potential trade war with Canada and calls to make it the 51st state has turned it into an election issue.